Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Jake from today'siphone.com, and here's your TIP Daily for October 16th, 2012. Okay, so obviously the biggest news of the day is Apple finally sent out invitations for its October 23rd media event. Now, the invitation is pretty sparse. It's just got like an Apple logo on it, and then the tagline is, "We've got a little more to show you." This little could maybe be a little iPad, the iPad mini with a 7.85-inch Retina display that we've all been talking so much about. There's also some possibilities of a 13-inch MacBook Pro with a Retina display and a new Mac Mini, a new iMac. You know, there's a huge possibility of things that can be presented at this event, but most people are definitely leaning towards an iPad mini. If you're interested, the event will take place October 23rd, which is a Tuesday, at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time, and 6 p.m. British Summer Time. We'll have videos, we'll have articles, we'll have a live blog, so definitely stay tuned to Today's iPhone to see all the latest details on whatever Apple announces. Okay, moving on, you may or may not have realized that the 5th generation iPod Touch does not have an ambient light sensor, which means it doesn't have the auto brightness feature that every iOS device has had since the first iPhone in 2007. Now, this should have been obvious to everybody just because there's only one little dot at the top of the iPod Touch's screen for the FaceTime camera. You know, it's a white face, so you would see if there were any more sensors there, and there aren't. But for some reason, for a lot of people, myself included, that just didn't click. I guess just because the light sensor feature has been such a staple and just a given on all iOS devices. So I was kind of surprised to find out that Apple took it out of the newest generation iPod Touch. And so was a customer who emailed Phil Schiller asking, what's going on? And he basically responded saying, "Yes, I'm so glad you bought the iPod Touch. It's a great device. It's too thin, so we couldn't put a light sensor in it." And as far as, iOS features go, this is not the biggest one to lose, but it is kind of a bummer, especially with regulating battery life and screen brightness and that kind of thing. iPod Touch customers, is this a big omission for you guys, or do you not really care? Okay, and finally, a Morgan Stanley analyst by the name of Nick Delfas has gone on record saying that Apple could release a T-Mobile compatible iPhone in the US by 2013. Now, these analysts tend to predict a lot of things that people want to hear based on whatever the rest of the market is doing. Apple doesn't usually, or at least hasn't in the past, made decisions based on what the market is doing. Recently, with the bigger screen on the iPhone and the reported iPad mini, that may start to change a little bit. That's just a sign that Steve Jobs is no longer with the company. That being said, there's really no way of knowing if this prediction of a T-Mobile iPhone is legit or not, but hopefully, fingers crossed that it is, just because it kind of sucks that T-Mobile customers are the only ones in the US left out. I mean, there are prepaid carriers all over the country that have the iPhone, and T-Mobile, which is the 4th largest carrier in the US, still doesn't. Okay, well, that's all the big news for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Your question of the day today is, what features in your iPhone or iPod Touch would you sacrifice in the name of a sleeker, thinner, sexier device? Would you get rid of a clickable home button in favor of a touch-sensitive one? Would you get rid of volume buttons in favor of on-screen controls? Stuff that, if taken out of a device, could make it thinner. So you can let me know in the comment section down below or on Twitter at TIP_Jake. Please don't forget the links to everything I talked about in this video in the description down below, so definitely check those out. And as always, for more news, views, and reviews, don't forget to head over to today'siphone.com.